A new satirical political party is gaining traction in India, especially among the nation's youth. In less than a fortnight, the Cockroach Janta Party has amassed millions of followers, and its social media platforms are expressing the frustrations of many young Indians grappling with unemployment and higher living costs. But its rising popularity has also caught the attention of politicians, and at least one of their accounts has been blocked in the country. For more on this, I'm joined from Chandigarh by Amarjot Kaur, principal correspondent at The Hindu. Amarjot, good to have you with us, and I really appreciate your time. Firstly, the Cockroach Party, what's the reference to cockroach? What's in the name?
So Abhijit Deepke was the one who founded this party, and when I spoke to him in one of the reportages, in fact, the first print article that came out from India, I asked him of what triggered the name, what possibly could be the reason why he called himself a cockroach, and he shared categorically that it was a reaction to the remarks, the oral citation, the oral remarks which were given by the Chief Justice of India, Suryakant, and that possibly was the reason why he called himself Cockroach Janata Party and was catering to a set of people who he thought were unemployed, as quoted in the in CJP's in the Chief Justice's remarks. But the Chief Justice later did clarify that he did not aim to shoot this comment at youth of India who was unemployed. He later said that this was essentially a remark that was passed at people who come and join different professions through fraudulent degrees, etc. To this, again, Abhijit had said that this disallows someone, or maybe Indians as in general, even if they have a degree or not, to question the government. So there's a huge backstory on this, and it starts with the Chief Justice of India saying what he said in one of those.
So why has it become so popular, especially among India's youth, and how big has it become?
It stands at over 22 million right now, and at that point in time, I think I interviewed Abhijit on 18th of May, and I asked him of what exactly. So what surprised me also was when he said, of course, it was initially this entire story peg, and in fact the news of a website of Cockroach Janta Party being formed was posted on one of the political influencers' accounts, Meghnad, and we were very interested in understanding how this really happened. It was very, very absurd at the same time, really funny, satirical for sure. So I got in touch with him and I tried to understand what exactly sparked this whole idea and what made this happen. So while speaking with him, he said, we received around 5,000. He just posted a random form on Twitter, on now, of course, X, formerly Twitter, and that received over 5,000, signatures, registrations for to become the member of Cockroach Janta Party. And later, this entire movement, within 2 days, he said, on our website, we have about 50,000 registrations. 50,000 members in just 2 days was something that I thought was very interesting. And and now it just completely exploded. But yes, one doesn't really understand what would click with the masses. And of course, there was this certain idea, 50,000 people in 2 days isn't a small number. So one did understand that this might kind of, also it's quite quirky if you look at it. If you look at the manifesto and you look at the vision, the mission, it was quite quirky to say the least, and very sardonic. I think it was extremely caustic. And then, of course, it appeals to a natural sentiment among the Indian youth, who are chronically online. It has these prerequisites. If you're lazy, you're unemployed. If you look at the recent reports in The Hindu, I think there's this article that was published in The Hindu in February this year, which quoted the labor force survey, the periodic labor force survey, stating that about there are the amount of unemployed people who are above the age of 15 stand about 5.1%, and it's the number of people who are unemployed compared to the rural and urban areas. So in the rural areas, it's about 4.3%, and in the urban areas, it's at 6.8%. So I think I think this entire movement kind of resonated with these people, with people who are chronically online, who are not, who are lazy, who are unemployed. So I think those little prerequisites were very Gen Z coded.
Yes, and of course the name is a play on words of the Prime Minister's BJP party. But is this the BJP its biggest target of satire, or is it broader than that, that everyone is fair game for the Cockroach Party?
I genuinely have, I don't know about that one. I mean, I wouldn't really be able to. I mean, we are speculating also, and we could possibly be asking that question. So I've constantly asked Abhijit of whether, he plans to start it as a political movement, or whether he wants to, sort of just keep it restricted to a satire. And we've had such movements before. I mean, if you come to think of it, I mean, you've had such pages before. There was a page called Humans of Hinduism, and it was shut down in 2017, I believe, 2017 or 2018. In 2018, January 5, there was a report which was published in the Hindu about the shutting down of Humans of Hinduism and it never coming back. So you've had such, internet movements, and sort of I wouldn't even really call it a movement. It's just a page is what I would like to address it as, and also something that maybe goes on to speak a little louder about what the general sentiment of people, especially the young people of India, is. And I think there's some tension simmering. So I'm sorry, you're talking about, speculating and trying to understand of what really is it going to become into. I have no idea. And every time I ask Abhijit, he has absolutely no idea. In fact, I remember sharing the newspaper clipping with Abhijit and telling him that, we've just published it. And he's like, oh my God, I don't know what's happened in the morning. I just looked at my account and it's exploded. I don't know what to do. So he was as clueless, as surprised, and
but of course, but at the same time, we're seeing that X, at the very least, has blocked its account. It's not visible, as far as I know, to Indians who are looking at that social media platform there. Is it running a risk of perhaps legal action, and is it really attracting the sort of attention it didn't want to in India's political circles?
Well, I mean, if you come to think of it, if you're talking about the legal attention it has gotten, I mean, Abhijit has definitely moved to the High Court, is what I've read also. And I think the whole idea, or maybe I think the question really arises on censorship more than anything else. There was a time when my account it drew a blank, and I was a little surprised because, I technically write about culture, art, and, stuff like that. So not really, and this was more like a cultural piece. I thought it would be a very quirky, absurd piece on, of how Cockroach Janta parties come out. And I didn't really expect it to kind of explode the way it has exploded. But I think what it spotlights on is general censorship, and I think comfortable are we with saying? Sorry, that's my pooch there.
Yeah. Clearly dissenting with the Cockroach Party, I suppose. But just so if that is the case, and if that you've experienced it, and then the Cockroach Party is experiencing, what does it tell us about how authorities in India are censoring satire? Because political satire is not something new. It's been around for decades in the political and media landscape.
This is the first time that a satirical party of, of this magnitude has arisen in India. And satire, is something that I think should be responded to in a more, it requires one to have the intellectual bandwidth and the creative bandwidth to respond to it with that in that tone. So it has to have that certain nuance. What the party is up to is, I think there's a certain ambiguity. We're not really understanding of, there's no statement that has been issued so far from the Prime Minister. And I think there's a certain level of trivializing also. So, they're like, it's just a satirical page and, possibly let it subside. But at the same time, we cannot discredit, or we cannot see the amount of people who've now become part of this party.